Hello, everyone. Welcome back into Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto, here to talk about what are the goings on in crypto to make sure that you stay informed. It's a real pleasure to have you back. We've been doing this since 2016, and it's just been such a ride to watch crypto go from nothing to blowing up and having mainstream articles about everything. Thank you so much for being here with me throughout the years, along with Wallace. He has been here as well, and I wanted to make sure that he got an opportunity to say hi to you guys because he hasn't had a chance to come on the show in a little bit, but he wanted to say hi, right, Wallace? What was it that you had to say to the people, Wallace? Oh, he's shy. He's camera shy. All right, Wallace, thank you for your. He's gonna go lay down now. Wallace likes to come in here with me while I'm doing the shows. He goes to his really comfortable bed that I had gotten him back in the bull market, back when we had money. I got him a nice memory foam pet bed, and he loves that thing. He comes and he lays in that while I'm doing the video. And it's like he knows when the show is about to end. He knows kind of, I don't know if it's the matter of speaking or the speech patterns or that he hears quote of the day, but he starts coming over to me like he knows that the video is about to the end. And it's funny about to end. And it's funny because he does the same thing when I'm practicing the Chopin etude in C sharp minor that I've been working on for an excessively long time. But since I always play that last before I finish playing the piano or practicing some piano or whatever, he knows that I'm about to get off the piano and he starts staring at me. I didn't know that animals could know music like that, man. But they really are just such beautiful things. And I'm blessed to have some amazing animals in my life. Winston is over there with his mother, Elle, who is playing some video games right now, hanging out. But while they're doing that, we're going to go ahead and get into crypto and what's happening today. So thank you so much for joining me. Yo, we're back, Mega Lee. We back. Indeed. Thank you for coming back as well, man. Yeah. No, well, I do piano mostly now just for fun. But yeah, it's been one of those things that's always been there like a mainstay my whole life. And it brings me pressure, man. We all should have hobbies that we partake in to get our heads out of crypto or whatever else we're obsessed with. And that's one that brings me just joy to, and brings me to the present moment because when you remove language from something, thinking about words and that which we sometimes do perpetually. We just don't stop thinking in words, and instead you're more like thinking in tones. I don't know how to express it. It really puts you in the present moment in a way that nothing else does. So I like to play a little bit before I even come on the show as well, just to kind of clear my head a little bit. It certainly helps, depending. If I'm playing like some Bach, I can't really sight read too well, then I just feel like crap about myself. But if I'm playing something easy, some Disney tunes or something, then yeah, it's pretty easy to get in the moment. But yeah, welcome everyone. Just vibing, vamping here while we wait for some people to roll in. So I work in music, and I can tell you are natural. It does good to play, and it does sound good. Yeah, I don't have perfect pitch or anything like that, but I guess when you love something, it definitely is a little. It comes more natural when you don't have to force yourself to do something. Like I know some people hate the piano because they were forced to learn how to play it. They were forced to go to classes and to teachers, and they just developed a distaste for it. That wasn't thankfully ever the case for me. Well, yeah, nice to hear, Megali. Very cool. So let's bought nice things during the bull market. Also, now I'm broke. Hey, at least it's kind of a way of like how you cashed out and you didn't just ride it down to nothing completely. Like some people who basically held during the whole bull market and took no profit at all and bought nothing. I know some Bitcoin maximalists that are like hardcore, like I'm never gonna sell, strongest hands in the world, like Adam Meister. And I guess generally for the most part they're still moving up if they hold throughout the years. But it's nice to have some sort of souvenir of the bull market. Like, hey, I have Wallace's dog, or I have the studio, right? Like if I hadn't had the bull market, I wouldn't have been able to get the camera. I wouldn't have been able to get some of what I needed to make the videos a little bit better, I guess, for the live streams where I can scroll through browsers, get like a dedicated card to be able to do this. Yeah, it takes some computing power to open all these browsing tabs and all that. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening with the prices, which is nothing. So we're pretty much flat today, as you can see. Still skirting around the bottom of the channel that I showed off in the last video about 2 days ago. Bitcoin 0%, so doing a nothing. We're waiting for that meeting at Jackson Hole. That's what some are saying. The Fed officials and the banksters of the banksters are going to be meeting up. And either giving out some hawkish or more dovish commentary. Hopefully, it's more dovish, although it seems unlikely. You have Neil Kashkari, one of the heads of the Fed, talking about how he expects that he fears most that inflation could be persistent. So they're kind of like letting us know through the cracks that it's going to be about how inflation is still heavy and they're going to have to continue to raise rates, which shouldn't be too much of a surprise. But I think that's what the markets were trying to price in at the beginning of this. I would imagine next week it'll be like nothing happened this week. So I could imagine a scenario where crypto prices continue to the upside as we go through this weekend and into next week. But of course, I'm not an expert. I'm not some super, I don't know, prophetic visionary as to where things are going to go. Although I remember feeling like that when I first heard about Ethereum and Bitcoin and start mining it before I even like started this channel. I remember when I had first met my girl, I felt like these prices were going to be going up like crazy, and it felt prophetic. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go pick my Lambo right now. It wasn't a Lambo, but I remember like going to a car place and picking out a car that I was going to be upgrading from my hybrid Sonata to this other really comfortable vehicle. And I remember taking it on a test drive over to where she was working and being like, yeah, what do you think about this car? And she was like, no. And I was like, why? And she's like, no. And I'm glad at the time that I didn't get the car because it took a while for crypto to go back up. I mean, every time it would start going up, we had something happen with crypto prices, like the Bitfinex hack in 2016 or the Dow hack. It was like taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. It felt like a lot of the time. It was hard to hold on. That's the thing. People are like, oh, you've been in crypto since forever. You must be so rich right now. I'm just popping into your channel to look at your newfound riches. Like, no, I'm just as broke as when I started, okay? It's not that easy. My point is, don't just do whatever I'm doing. That's usually a ridiculous thing to do, but it's nice to be here talking about what's going on and just giving some commentary because I see it as a community. That's really what we're doing here, a support community, and I appreciate you being a part of mine. Oh, so nice to have you back. A legitimate studio. Sorry, I have like the font really small there. I should try to make it bigger. Good money is spent money, or spent money. Yeah, good money is spent money. I mean, I guess it could be. So far, none of the hedges, right? Get some gold. It's gonna protect you. Get your cryptos. Yeah, they haven't held up always as I guess depending when you bought as something that's gonna hold your value. I read some news article today about how somebody had stashed something like $460,000 in cash and buried it in somewhere, and it got found like today, and it's only worth like 10% of what it was because of inflation, something like that, something ridiculous. I'm not getting the numbers right, but it goes to show it's really hard to conserve capital. Everything in this world is fleeting. Even like a house is fleeting. It's constantly decaying. Gold is one of those things that does not decay at all, which is really interesting. Or we could think of the opposite of that. What are things that get stronger throughout history? I would say that the Bitcoin blockchain is one of those things, or blockchains that are able to have their uptime or have more transactions and more users coming on board. That makes them stronger, I would say, over the long run. So that's good to see, although we're facing all this climate stuff, and that might be a battle Bitcoin will have to face. Ethereum will not be, with the merge coming up soon, and we'll see if these are indeed good times to be scraping up some of that cheap ETH, right, as we move into the verge of the merge. I wanted to give a heads up to Ledger. I got an email today. They're doing a promotion. So if you've been looking to get a hardware wallet, maybe you don't have one yet, or maybe you want to get a backup one. Well, they're actually running a backup promotion pack where you can save 10% and you'll get and it's going to be free shipping, of course, and you're going to get a Ledger Nano S and you're going to get a Ledger Nano X, their newer model. And for example, you could take your Ledger Nano X on the go, plug that into your phone, and do whatever you need to do crypto-wise from your hardware wallet on the go. And you could have like your backup Ledger Nano S at home for your computer. So if you want to pick one up, it could be a good time to do that. I put a link down below. It looks like the price is $205 without tax and duty. Definitely the number one hardware wallet that I've used throughout the years and been a big fan of. I know there are others. Feel free to let me know your favorite, but I just want to let you know about the promotion going on. Binance has partnered with MasterCard. What a world, right? Again, I wake up in disbelief sometimes about some of the things that I'm reading and seeing from where crypto started off. Right? Like basically even Satoshi said like in years' time that Bitcoin would either be worth nothing or have like a substantial amount of people using it after considerable length of time. And indeed, here we are in a short amount of time. The amount of brain power, the amount of industry that has been driven to crypto is insane. So I guess not too surprising to see this announcement of a partnership taking place in Argentina primarily, whereby there's going to be this Binance card that is loaded with crypto. You'll be able to earn 8% back in rewards in Argentina for swiping this at over 90 million MasterCard merchants, both in store in Argentina or online. And yeah, you can get back about 8% back in crypto on eligible purchases, which is really, really dope. And it's the first Latin American country to have the product. Ongoing efforts toward furthering global cryptocurrency adoption in a tangible manner. Ooh, this thing is not just in the cloud. We have money in a card. I know there are a lot of different cards right now, but more options to people, especially in places like Argentina, where you have the Argentine peso just plummeting in value. It would be nice to be able to hold something else, another stable coin perhaps, and be able to use that to use your purchases, to pay for purchases and keep the value of what you've earned at your job or whatever. So I can see why it would be beneficial to have that in Argentina. And yeah, the dollar surpassed euro yesterday. And I think that's interesting, right? Like people who decide to, instead of holding euros in their bank account in Europe, they decide to instead use crypto, the borderless nature of it, the mostly censorship resistant, depending how you use it, nature of these things. Of course, USDC isn't necessarily completely censorship resistant, but you have like people in Europe who are putting their funds in USDC, so they're basically holding dollars, and they can preserve more value relative to the euro, which is not holding up as well as the dollar. So this is interesting that you can have these kinds of personal arbitrage opportunities using more and more stable coins, more and more cryptos that are, again, just opening up the flood doors. Not all these things are Ponzi's, not all these things are scams. They have real world utility. And there do exist scams. Don't get me wrong. There are all sorts of scams. There'll probably be comments under this very video where you will see scammers telling you that they are pretending that they're me and to send them money and to hit up this phone, which, by the way, don't do that. I never ask you for your personal information or money, but some of these scams may have been covered by a certain YouTuber, right? His name was BitBoy Crypto, who got called out by this other YouTuber named Atozy. And this is something that I haven't covered on the show, but it's been playing out over the last week. I try not to get into the personal news as much, but once it blows up to a certain degree, I think I can't help but cover it. So BitBoy Crypto decided to sue this this non-crypto YouTuber Atozy, who just like calls out people in various industries. It's not crypto specific, but he did call out BitBoy for talking about this token called PAMP, which was supposed to never go down in value, only go up. And it looks like BitBoy Crypto decided to serve a lawsuit after filing like threatening draft lawsuits and having people show up at his door to Atozy's house and basically try to deliver and almost threaten this lawsuit. Then he finally went forward with it, it looks like, and officially filed the lawsuit asking for $75,000 worth of damages because he felt recurring bouts of depression and he felt anxiety because he might never be able to recover good faith and reputation in regards to his business as a crypto influencer who is able to earn, in some cases, $30,000 or more to kill some sort of project, something that I've always tried to stay away from, just to try to set a good example and to obviously not run afoul of the law, because there are securities laws as well where you can't just be doing this sort of thing, getting paid in the background, not disclosing that you're running promotions. Although it looks like BitBoy as of January has, for whatever reason, decided to stop promoting things, it sounds like. Still, I guess he's been somewhat concerned. He decided to go through his lawsuit. So here's Atozy when he had said, I wish I didn't have to make this thread back yesterday, actually, but I'm being sued by the YouTuber BitBoy Crypto for a video I made roughly nine months ago covering how he promoted a project named PAMP. Last night, the third person BitBoy sent to my house showed up and served me the whole lawsuit. According to media reports, he has made previously $30,000 for single paid promotion and now feels responsible for the losses suffered by his followers. I stand by the allegations in the lawsuit, says Atozy, and don't understand why he filed it. I'm crowdfunding to help cover the insane cost of defending myself against this frivolous lawsuits, which Atozy said could cost him between $50,000 and $500,000 just to defend himself. All funds raised will be used to pay legal fees. If there's anything left over, I will donate them to various charities, as I have no interest in profiting from my community. He gave out a GoFundMe address, which managed to raise over $50,000, BTC address, an ETH address that managed to raise over $18,000, and he even has a .eth address. Pretty nice. Atozy.eth, and he had said all leftover crypto funds will be donated to Coin Center, which lobbies for better cryptocurrency regulation for our industry, away from silly lawmakers who just don't seem to know what the heck they're doing. So they provide educational resources. They do all sorts of things on behalf of our industry. So that would have been nice to see. And then he shared a link to his video, I Got Sued, which if you want to get more of the details of the lawsuit and everything else, I encourage you to check out. So that's I Got Sued by Atozy. I'm not going to go through that, of course, right here. But one of the things that he mentions is this CNBC article, which does seem to say, like, I don't understand why I'm being sued. You know that you were shilling some less than reputable projects and getting paid in the background here. So why is it too much of a surprise to you now? And why are you coming after me? See, it says so right here. He had a crisis of conscience, Ben Armstrong, aka BitBoy, in January of this year, when he realized he had to stop a business practice he and a lot of other people in his line of work had been engaged in for years. For the record, I know many of these guys. I've been privy to the circles, as I mentioned before. They've tried to include me in the circles. They've tried to include me in the Telegram groups, and they basically say, hey, look, we have access to this. Just, you know, even if I'm not, like, I probably shouldn't even be saying this, even if I am a U.S. citizen and I should not be allowed as an early seed investor anymore to participate in some of these early fundraising rounds, I have been personally invited just because of my audience and say, like, just, you know, you can give, there's, for you, crypto, not even a minimum. Just give whatever you want to. You'll get some tokens on the side. And then, you know, you just do some marketing on the side. You just say some good things here and there and you're good. But those kind of things always made me feel scummy, and then I just did not want to participate. But yeah, it is something that does exist, a lot of this, where you don't really vet the project very well, but you got paid, so you promote it. Armstrong is one of the most watched crypto influencers on YouTube. His channel, BitBoy Crypto, has amassed more than 1.5 million subscribers for years. I remember when he told me that he used to watch my show back in the day, before he even started his show. Armstrong, so yeah, he wasn't even one like the earliest. He just managed to blow up, I guess. Armstrong said he accepted payments from crypto companies to tout their new products for his vast audience of subscribers. That's a practice he says he now regrets because it has led to some painful losses for his own viewers. It's interesting to me that the channels, and I'm not just picking on BitBoy here or anything like that, but it's interesting to me that some of the channels that grew the quickest are those that do say, hey, check out this project, even if it's kind of shady. They get shielded, some of these projects, again, with some enthusiasm, simply because you were paid on the side. But people want to know, how do they make the quickest buck? That's why they come to crypto. They don't come here for cypher. I learned this throughout the years, man. Was I somewhat naive? They don't come here for cypherpunk mentalities. They don't come here to try to dismantle the old institutions and try to build them brand new using new technology. They don't come here. They say they come here for those reasons. I'm in it for the tech, right? With the gold chains around their necks. But basically, they come here to figure out what is that thing that's going to 100x. So if you're a channel that promises that, you're more likely to grow. So it's just interesting that the ones that are kind of, in some cases, dumping on you more likely are the channels that have the most viewers. Something weird there. In the fall of 2020, Armstrong announced his partnership with a cryptocurrency called DistX, calling it his most trusted coin. He said the whole idea of DistX was to stop scams in crypto, but Armstrong said in the end, the project itself ended up being a scam. Am I the scammer? The project team rug pulled, meaning they had worked to increase the market cap, then disappeared, leaving investors holding the bag. The coin is down basically 100%. Anyway, you can read more about this, but apparently he had been making something like $100,000 per month in promotions alone. This was his job, and now he cannot be doing it because he's getting called out for some of this. But anyway, there was some good that's been coming of this. And oh, and by the way, you should totally check out this channel. Let me play a little bit of it. This video by Penguins Zero. I've seen his channel before. I think he's one of the most blunt speakers on YouTube. And he says it how it is. I really appreciated his commentary on this, even though he's not, again, a crypto person. Again, this is kind of blown up into the mainstream YouTube world. But check out the video called "Crypto Channel Tries to Sue YouTuber." I'll play just a little segment of it so that you guys can see that. Thank you, Gabriel. Love you too.
BitBoy seeking $75,000 due to defamation and emotional distress that he experienced when Atozy made a mean YouTube video about him, saying less than pleasant things. And I personally am mortified to learn that someone was being rude to another YouTuber. That just makes my blood boil. That's just fucking unacceptable. So this lawsuit is one that's really hitting close to home here. Atozy was not playing by standard Weenie Hut Jr. rules, clearly. He made a video talking about BitBoy's past with shady crypto and just a general history of sketchy shit, which made BitBoy upset enough to file a lawsuit against him for the video. Now, I'm not here to opine on whether or not BitBoy is a scammer or anything. I'm not here to make any claims against him or any allegations. I'm just here to make fun of him. So don't worry, BitBoy. Don't blow a gasket here. I'm not going to defame you. I'm just here to laugh at you. Every now and then, some pathetic, stinky worm decides it's a good idea to try and legally strong-arm a YouTuber they don't like with some lawsuit to scare them or get money out of them or get the video taken down or something like that. And I always can't help but find it comical because it never works out in their favor. This whole thing was about him being, upset.
Anyway, yeah, you should definitely watch that whole video. It's worth your time, if only for entertainment purposes. But yeah, he kind of slams BitBoy quite a bit. So, I mean, there's a CoinDesk article that came out today, and it was basically talking about how in this whole scenario where BitBoy tried to bully or intimidate another YouTuber, he ended up doing the Barbra Streisand effect, whereby in trying to cover something up and make a behind behind closed doors lawsuit against someone, he ended up blowing this up even more, and it's basically affected his reputation even bigger than the initial thing that he tried to cover up. He drew more attention to it by trying to be so low-key about it. So yeah, I mean, that was a good opinion piece. It's on CoinDesk. Whatever, I don't need to link to CoinDesk right now. And it gave you the gist of it, but that's a pretty good article too. A friend of mine, king of all Korean Jews, Korean Jew Crypto here, had tagged Kobe, someone who's very popular on Twitter. He's blown up. I kind of like his lighthearted demeanor. He seems like one of the better crypto bros, I'm not gonna lie. But CryptoKobe or Kobe, however you pronounced it, had been tagged by King of all Korean Jews, and Kobe said, "Oh, I'll send 100,000 or something later when at PC." Who brought it up? Actually, there was someone here in the chat who had said it. Yep, Gortrobot. Thank you, Gortrobot. Yeah, exactly. So he helped raise a little bit of the pressure here of that $50,000 to $500,000 that Atozy would have had to spend in legal fees to defend himself. Kobe was like, here's $100,000 sent in USDC. I support that. I too am also getting sued. Oh man. So yeah, all these sorts of lawsuits. It just reminds me a little bit of like Craig Wright, where now suddenly are people scared of saying anything for fear of getting sued, unless you have certain folks like Hodlonaut out there or Peter McCormick who stand up for themselves and for the rest of the community. They have to invest a lot of their own personal time. They have to go through a lot of stress and anxiety just to kind of defend themselves from something where somebody says that they've been defamed. We're seeing this come out more and more in crypto. Again, using the courts where it was like, let's build our own arbitration courts using Aragon in crypto early on. Now it's like, no, let's go to the real courts and try to use that to get some sort of knockback. Such a crazy change that we've seen. But I thought that was really, really nice of CryptoKobe to do. So Ben Armstrong has been, or BitBoy has been, kind of on a tip on Twitter where he hadn't really backed down at all. You can't literally make up lies and accusations, he said, about people. There are consequences for this because you tell two truths and one lie. That doesn't excuse the lie. Hate me all you want, but at the end of the day, people will be held accountable for lies and slander period. And Justin Wang, appropriate name, said Ben Armstrong, more like Ben Dick Small. So again, it's like he tried to sue one person for saying something defamatory, but now it looks like all of the internet has become defamatory and quite upset with Ben Armstrong. I haven't seen a situation recently where you had it such a one-sided narrative. It looks like it's Ben Armstrong against the entire world at this point. So the someone from Ripple, one of the heads of Ripple here, one of the founders of Ripple, CTO, David Schwartz, said, please identify one specific statement that you can prove is a lie. I read your complaint and couldn't find a single one. He said that over to Ben Armstrong, who responded, after the case is over, unless confidentiality is a part of the settlement, I would love to discuss this, but unfortunately, I cannot make specific statements until this is over. This was never supposed to be public. I respect you and would love to have this convo. It's interesting that you sue a YouTuber who is a public figure. It's obviously going to be out there in the public because Atozy, I mean, he has like 1.23 million subscribers or something like that right now. And so this is going to get public. And especially now they got picked up by like Penguins Zero, who has 11.2 million subscribers. Yeah, this is quite public. David Schwartz responded to Ben Armstrong. So you're perfectly comfortable accusing people of spreading provable lies on Twitter, but suddenly uncomfortable when asked to show one specific instant of a provable lie? Honest question. What conclusion do you think people should draw from that? But Ben Armstrong didn't want to give one. Still, in this case, he said, because it's a lawsuit, David, and it's ongoing, and any statement with specifics hurt the case. Like I said, this was not supposed to be public. I do my fighting behind closed doors. What happened? Let's do this out in the open. Let's go outside, right? But it's where it is, and I have been advised against making statements, so I'm going to do just that. But we did get, finally, right before I did this video, I saw some good news in regards to this whole thing that looks like, I mean, at least some of the stink the community has been making, some of these videos have gotten to Ben Armstrong. Maybe they have now really caused him to have some sort of anxiety as to what's going to happen if he continues forward with this lawsuit. Let me see. Oh, where was it? Where was it? Oh, yeah. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Atozy. From what I've heard, BitBoy will be pulling the lawsuit. I'm blown away from the support. In less than 24 hours, we raised roughly 200,000 USD. Once I have confirmation it's officially pulled, I will be refunding everyone who donated. Thank you guys for saving me. So great news there. It does seem like BitBoy is going to be pulling the lawsuit, and he seems confident that it's going to be happening. Hopefully it's not an early celebration. It's not 100% official yet that this has been pulled, but it seems like he thinks it's going to be pulled, and he will let us know when that does happen. And he said that he's going to be, again, giving back all the refunding all the donations, including in crypto. He's going to take a little bit of what Kobe gave him, the 100,000 USDC, and he's going to be using that to pay the gas fees, so the Ethereum transaction fees, to get that back out to the appropriate people. So just, I guess, an all-around wholesome story. Hopefully we've learned something through all this. I don't know what the lesson is here, but I do hope that BitBoy, I mean, he's learned something right here, because it's not right to attack others who are doing exactly what you're doing. It seemed like a big show of ego here, and it's really not in line at all with any sort of cryptocurrency values. It's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it's surprising or not, but I do want to know if anybody does follow BitBoy closely, what they think about this. I don't know. We will go forward here with the news. Mainnet Merge announcement. This was put on the blog for ethereum.org today, and it goes into the final steps that are going to be taking place here and the official dates for the merge. So if you're still trying to work around that and understand what's going on, it might pay you to read the Mainnet Merge announcement there that was posted. They talk about how the Bellatrix upgrade is going to be happening first, and then the Paris part, the second part, is going to be happening afterwards, after we hit a total difficulty on the execution layer. So basically you have these two different things that have to happen for the Ethereum 2.0 network to exist fully in Ethereum 2.0, whatever one you want to call it. But that is the consensus layer, and which is basically already running, and the execution layer. And so the first step is going to be happening on September 6th, 2022 at 11:34 a.m. UTC, where the Bellatrix upgrade happens, and basically difficulty, the terminal total difficulty has to hit this number, this extremely long number right here, which is expected between September 10th and 20th, maybe around September 15th, 16th. Once it hits that difficulty, the execution layer will join the consensus layer, and they'll both flourish into the future. Proof of work will no longer be available. GPUs, ASICs, it'll be basically all done through those who stake Ethereum tokens and are get a chance to validate that way and get some sort of reward. So this goes into the timing of things, gives links to all the different clients for the consensus layer and execution layer. Both of these clients need to be upgraded. They warn about using the earlier Geth version here because it had a critical bug. 1.10.22, so make sure you download the 1.10.23 if you're into Geth. And then it goes into an FAQ. For example, if you're just an Ethereum hodler, do you need to do anything? No, not really. Don't stress yourself unless you're running your own node or something. There's really nothing that you need to be doing. So yeah, and no, you won't be able to withdraw your stake immediately. Although that could be available very soon because Coinbase is going to be launching support. So this was speculated for a while. Coinbase has said that they had plans to allow for users of the exchange who had deposited ETH tokens and locked them up for ETH 2.0, giving them the ability to eventually trade these tokens using some sort of derivative token that's kind of like an IOU. So they have now released the white paper for that for CBETH. I encourage you to read it yourself at coinbase.com/cbeth/whitepaper. CBETH. So this is the Coinbase version of Ethereum. So think of, oops, we had a little bit of a slip there. So if you think about like STF for Lido or some of these other derivatives, it's basically the same thing, but for tokens of Ethereum that you have deposited and staked on Coinbase, you'll be getting CBETH if you wrap your ETH, which is being rolled out to users today. We got a little video here. Lets you sell, spend, or use your staked ETH while earning rewards. Yeah, so you'll go basically into the Coinbase into the website or into the mobile application, and then there, if you go to the staking page, you'll see an option to wrap your ETH2 and turn it into CBETH. And they go into how that's calculated on the white paper. So again, if that's relevant to you, I'm not going to go through all of it, but check it out yourself. It basically takes into consideration any sort of penalties that might accrue, as well as rewards for the ETH that will be earned as a form of yield for ETH 2.0. They talk about how you can, different reasons you might want to do that. You might want to go ahead and sell before withdrawals are officially available for ETH 2.0, which you're expected to be to 6 to 12 months away in that upgrade, the Shanghai upgrade. If you don't want to wait for that, you might want to exit your staked ETH position using this on Coinbase. Or you might want to use your ETH as collateral for like a liquidity pool in DeFi. So you'll be able to do that. You might want to have somebody else, a family member or a friend, participate in earning ETH2. So to make that ETH transferable to them, you might convert that to CBETH and so on. And it's kind of a surprise in a way that they didn't announce this in advance. I don't think it would have led to some sort of pumping or anything like that, but it's being rolled out immediately to users everywhere. So I even saw that on my mobile app that's available for you. So check that out if that's something you've been looking forward to, access to that liquidity, which is pretty cool. Sell CBETH for RF. Yeah, I mean, it's a question as to what you want to do, and that it's interesting as to whether you want to start selling right away and whether that's going to be a good thing to do, because if you convert it to CBETH or some other kind of derivative, then you might not be able to claim that as a proof of work token. So when the merge happens, there could be this proof of work version of Ethereum that is maintained by miners like we've heard about rumors about that coming out and real efforts to make that happen. So basically, this proof of work version of ETH proof of work, you wouldn't get that token if you sell all your ETH. So instead, like there's theories about how people are in fact trying to accrue ETH in order to get more of that other token and the original ETH. So you have both tokens after the merge, and then afterwards doing whatever you want, whether that's just getting out of ETH completely and ETH of proof of work, or what most are hoping to do, which is trying to front run everybody else, all the bots, and and somehow sell for some sort of profit some of that token. Although that seems like it's going to be quite difficult to do because we still have to have demand on the other side of things. How much buying pressure for this ETH proof of work token is there going to be? I'm not seeing anyone really vouching for that. The ones who want it to most succeed are, again, people who are hoping to scalp some sort of money, and the miners who want to keep Ethereum as it is. I even heard a comment yesterday about how this is a whole betrayal. This is a betrayal that Ethereum is moving to proof of stake, even though that was originally the plan. But the miners are getting quite loud. And you also have, for example, like even some DAOs like Frax stablecoin, as it says here, the 5th largest stablecoin in the world, which has 20% plus of Curve's total locked value, and a Uniswap top 10 token. Basically, they put forward a proposal, Frax DAO, to sell any sort of ETH proof of work coin if it were to exist. See, here's a proposal. If there's significant value Frax DAO controls on ETH proof of work chains, should any exist, then the core team will attempt to convert all assets on ETH proof of work into ETH on proof of stake ETH, then deposit it into the DAO treasury as protocol controlled value to honor Frax redemptions and increase the CR. So basically they're saying, yeah, if it has any sort of value and we're going to go ahead and dump it for real ETH. So many are trying to do that it's I don't know. It seems like so risky to try to go for that move. But still, I mean, I guess ETH proof of work might have some value one day, and maybe you want to hold on to that rather than buy it if there's some inevitable dump. I don't know what the play is here, but anyway. Yeah, if you want to be able to get, my point is, if you want to be able to get your ETH proof of work, then it might be good to hold on to your ETH and not get that into CBETH or some sort of other derivative token. Anyway, censoring and on-chain censoring is a dire warning. It's like you guys sometimes read my mind as to what I'm about to talk about next, Curb Shifter, because I was just about to mention this article here with Tether. Tether holds firm on decision not to freeze Tornado Cash addresses, awaits law enforcement instruction. So you have like some exchanges and some business operators are out there that are like, oh no, I don't even want to wait to see what law enforcement has to say. I'm just going to go ahead and censor everything now. I'm going to censor anything that's a mixing service. I'm going to censor Tornado because I'm scared, right? But Tether is taking the opposite kind of approach here. And they've said that they do frequently and almost every day talk to law enforcement, and they do freeze accounts, except for exchange accounts. They don't do that. But they do freeze addresses if they're instructed to do so because law enforcement asks them to do so. But until law enforcement gives them some sort of specific instruction to them, they're not just going to go ahead and start freezing things right away or banning some sorts of transactions. Unilaterally freezing secondary market addresses could be a highly disruptive and reckless move by Tether, they said. Even if Tether recognizes suspicious activities on such an address, completing a freeze without the verified instruction of law enforcement and other government agencies might interfere with ongoing and sophisticated law enforcement investigations. Wow, they're way to really like, you know, there's really no nice way to say this, but way to blow on law enforcement here. And make yourselves look good here, Tether. Wow. In fact, in our dealings with law enforcement, we are sometimes made aware of addresses potentially related to crime and are specifically instructed not to freeze the addresses without the explicit request from law enforcement, as this could alert suspects of the law enforcement investigation, cause liquidation or abandonment of funds, and jeopardize further connections that might have been established. Tether has not been contacted by U.S. officials or law enforcement with the request to freeze the addresses sanctioned by OFAC. But as noted above, Tether normally complies with requests from U.S. authorities, being in contact with them on almost a daily basis. For example, we have been cooperating on various freezes with U.S. law enforcement, including in the last 2 weeks after the OFAC public disclosure about Tornado Cash, and no specific request has been put to us related to freezing relevant Tornado Cash addresses. We would expect the same process of detailed communication and coordination even in this case. It is also worth mentioning that Tether is not a U.S. person. There you go. Does not operate in the United States or onboard U.S. persons as customers. However, Tether does consider OFAC sanctions as part of its world-class compliance program. But still, despite everything else and trying to look good to law enforcement everywhere else, they're basically standing a little bit more cypherpunk here. They're basically standing by everyone who supports freedom of code and privacy and the proper steps of service that need to be followed by law enforcement to actually sanction things, not just shooting yourselves in the foot beforehand. So I guess good on Tether here they're really trying to increase their reputation through all this going on with Tornado, as we've seen through some of their prior blog posts as well. Also, this today, just wanted to give it a heads up. If somehow, I don't know, this is the channel you watch for finance news, I want to make sure you don't miss it. This is the big drama today. Let me know what you guys think. The Biden administration has canceled a lot of student loans today. So $10,000 for a lot of Americans. I'm hearing like 30% of those who have student loans are going to have $10,000 canceled. $20,000 if you've taken out a Pell Grant, you really needed funds. Well, a lot of people really needed funds, but you know how they calculate these things up there to give these grants and whatever else. But anyway, if you had a Pell Grant, they're giving you $20,000 worth of forgiveness of debt. It only applies to those earning less than $125,000, $250,000 for the household, and student loan pauses. We haven't been paying student loans in the United States forever, since the pandemic kind of started. But this is going to be the final delay until December 31st. I'm not sure whether it's going to be immediate or not. I hear there might be a form you'd have to fill out through your loan processor in order to get that forgiven, although I'm not entirely sure. They might ask about your income, so on. And yeah, even if you do have to continue to pay loans and they're not all, maybe $10,000, $20,000 wasn't all you owned, now it's going to go from 10% of income earned repayment, so basically 10% of your income. Now it's going to go down to 5% of your income is going to be what the payment will be. So it's being lowered a substantial amount. People are saying, wow, this is money printing on a huge level. Absolutely. I'm hearing it's something like $387 million, somewhere around there, ballpark. That's basically being printed again. And I mean, we're printing money for everybody. That's the way I'm seeing it. There's really no other. This is the way that the system works. It's exponential. The exponential amount of debt, the exponential amount of inflation that will be coming. That's why I got into crypto. I mean, if you understand how the system works, fractional reserve banking, there is nothing more obvious. You should really read The Creature from Jekyll Island if you want to really understand the nature of modern banking, of the modern financial world. This is a giant beast that is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. There's going to be an insane amount more money. If you think the amount that's been printed so far is anything, just you wait for what's going to come. And eventually, I've just been hoping that mankind wakes up to limited assets like cryptocurrency and the value that we can have. They're more liquid. Yeah, you might say like real estate, right? Real estate, but we can always make more real estate. It's not liquid. It's not as liquid an investment. It doesn't allow you to pay for your coffee. You can do that now in crypto in so many different ways. We've built so much more infrastructure. Crypto is almost ready for the prime time, my friends. And I think the world will continue to wake up and open up to this. And that's going to be meaning that a lot of the liquidity that's being printed, a lot of this money and capital will be pouring into cryptocurrency, is my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. Again, not telling you what's going to happen, but so far that's been playing out. It's a matter of survival, trying to pick up these things while they're cheap, ideally, to prosper, at least, very least survive from what reckless governments are doing. But in the meantime, hopefully you get some sort of handout to survive, because everyone gets handouts from the PPE loans, for example. Small businesses were given. I'm hearing there's so much fraud, for example, here when it comes to hiring. You have so many entities in LA say they're hiring, but it's a lie. They just have to say that they're hiring in order to continue to get these loans or to not be called outright frauds or something like that. But the system is so messed up, man. It really is messed up. And the last people who really benefit are the small guys. So I guess take whatever wins you can, because it's a matter of survival here. And hopefully you can continue to learn about the best places to park any sort of excess capital. I know for like myself, people are saying, well, you know, how this applies to me. Oh, you went to college, right? So that means that you have a great job. You're making a lot of money because you went to college. So why are we forgiving the loans of people who went to college? That's taking away from people who didn't go to college. Guess what? In the modern world, people who didn't go to college oftentimes can make more money. Instead, they go to a trade school or something else. And they might end up earning more than somebody with a college degree. Or me, who has like a theater degree. You know how many people with a theater degree are able to make money? Teachers. I guess if you want to be a teacher and teach drama, that's one of the primary ways to earn on this degree. But for most people, 99% of people with my degree, probably not paying off your loans. I still owe loans, believe it or not, because I've always believed in paying as little as possible and hoping for eventually some sort of debt jubilee, which was something that will likely happen at some point in the future, where things do have to be reset as we move into a new structure. I just have hoped crypto helps us through all this, and so far it has, and I continue to hope it does, in hopes that it does in the future. I'll continue to cover that as we go forward here, but just wanted to let you know about this situation going on. Yeah, it helped me. It helped a lot of my colleagues and fellow alumni, but I know we all have different opinions, and I mean, again, inflation's just going to happen, IMO. I will leave this quote of the day. I guess I thought about Ben Armstrong here, but it could apply to really anyone, right? Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Socrates, he put a lot of stress on another individual, and that is wrong. I don't think you should be imposing that kind of thing on others. It is a violent action, I think. I don't think it is voluntarist or anarchist or whatever. Like peace and love, bro, treating others the way you want to be treated, religious. There's so many different communities that believe in that, right? Like treat others how you want to be treated. And unfortunately, sometimes we forget that. But we also have to remember to be merciful, I guess, and let bygones be bygones. So hopefully BitBoy Crypto does let go of that lawsuit, and then hopefully he's somewhat forgiven. I guess would be the best scenario for him. I don't believe in damning people to hell, but oh man, have I learned we all think differently. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Much love. And if you're going through your own struggles, know that I'm there with you and you've got my support. Take care, everyone. Much love, and stay cryptic. Peace.